Rune June is here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about a couple Rune meme coins and some projects in the Bitcoin DeFi space that I think are going to absolutely take off this year. So let's hop straight into it. All right, guys, so I'm going to start covering a lot more Bitcoin DeFi content and a lot more Runes content. I've gone super into it in the past couple of weeks, and I'm going to be kind of, covering a lot of that stuff on my channel for long form content for, the coming, however long. So the first project we're going to be talking about is Dog. So to be honest, I've heard about this before, but I really didn't even take a good look at it till like a couple of days ago. I didn't realize how big it was. But there is actually a Rune that is in the top 200. It's currently at 119, up 60% in the past month, and was the top performing asset in the whole crypto space for the top 200 in the past week or so, or something like that. Now, this project was made by basically the biggest KOL in Runes, this guy named Leonidas, and he has a ton of pull. And it's kind of a simple thesis. It's the leading dog coin for the Bitcoin space, and I think it has the potential for top 100, only sitting at around a $400 million market cap. As you can see, back in November, it went to a market cap of around almost $1 billion. And if you take a look at it, it's recovered really, really, really well since, the whole, market Trump scam crash. And if you take a look at this, I think if we're able to see sort of some more euphoria come back and more sentiment for altcoins to come back in the market, I would consider Dog an altcoin, even though it's part of the Bitcoin ecosystem. I'd consider all the Runes alts. I think this thing could go to probably $2 billion is possible. 1.5 to 2 billion seems like a pretty reasonable estimate. And I think the main catalyst for these Runes and everything is the fact that they are a part of the Bitcoin space. So Bitcoin has just been absolutely dominating it, and the altcoins have been getting absolutely crushed by Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is sitting at around 63% or so. And back in 2021, before the alt season happened, Bitcoin dominance was sitting at around 73%. So there's a chance that we continue to see Bitcoin just completely destroy the altcoins. And there's a chance we don't even see a real alt season this cycle. Maybe we just see a couple altcoins pump. But we'll see what happens. Nobody actually knows what's going to happen. What I am pretty confident about is Bitcoin is going to keep performing well. And that's kind of part of my overall thesis for this Bitcoin DeFi space is the fact that Bitcoin is the biggest brand, well-known asset in the entire space. It dominates all the other coins. And this is a sector that is beta to Bitcoin. So it's not going anywhere. There's always going to be liquidity for it as long as Bitcoin continues to go. And the UX and the applications continue to get better, which I'm going to get into in a couple minutes. One of the big problems and the reason why Bitcoin DeFi really never took off, in my opinion, was because most of the applications sucked. They were all slow. There was all these shitty all these terrible side chains that did not really work, and nobody liked them. At the end of the day, users want a good user experience, and they don't want a slow, clunky experience. People want speed. People want fast transactions. People don't really care about all the nitty-gritty shit. And what's changing in the space now is ICP technology is starting to be used. ICP Chain Fusion is starting to be used to build great Bitcoin DeFi that's actually fast, that's actually competitive in performance with Solana DeFi. Because why the fuck would people leave Solana DeFi to go to a shittier DeFi experience? The DeFi experience on Bitcoin DeFi needs to be on par with Solana, all right? And a couple of these projects that are coming up are looking like they're going to be able to pull it off. And the first one we're going to be talking about is Odin.Fun. A lot of you guys probably already know about this, but it is the #1 platform for trading Bitcoin assets, Runes, BRC20, Ordinals, all that shit. And it's pump fun for Bitcoin. And it's built on ICP and uses CKBTC under the hood, which is basically a wrapped version of Bitcoin, but it's actually not wrapped. So it's a better version it's a more secure version of wrapped Bitcoin, you could say, that is being used on Odin.Fun to make it really fast. And it's also using ICP technology. And as you can see right here, there's a lot of really cool stuff going on. It's, pretty much straight up Bitcoin for pump fun. This is a project I am super bullish on. The dev I've known for years now, and I interviewed him a couple months back. I'll probably have him on at some point. And I saw him in person, Bob and everything. A lot of you guys probably know Bob. Saw Bob in Vegas and everything. Great guy. I'm super bullish on this platform. I think it's going to do a lot of big things in the future. Pretty straightforward. Bitcoin of pump fun. Now, the next project we're going to be talking about is not out yet, but I am super, super, super bullish on this one. I'm going to be talking about why. And it is essentially, it's called a Liquidium Finance, and it's basically a multi-chain Aave that is bridgeless, all right? So as you can see right here, it is a completely bridgeless, no wrap tokens, borrowing and lending platform that's multi-chain, and this is because they are using ICP technology. And as you can see in this little demo right here, supply USDC, borrow, Ethereum, supply Solana, borrow ICP. There's a ton of potential with this, and I think it's going to be an absolutely huge thing. As you can see right here, it says frictionless decentralized cross-chain lending, earn native Bitcoin yield, borrow and lend assets powered by Chain Fusion. This thing I think is going to be absolutely huge. Of course, it's still getting built out right now, so it's not available currently. But I think this project could be a potential, one of the biggest projects in Bitcoin DeFi. I don't really see any real competition. Like, if I'm just being honest, the current and previous Bitcoin DeFi absolutely fucking sucked, okay? Not a good experience. If you actually use the applications, you know what I'm talking about. So I think Odin.Fun and I think Liquidium's new borrowing and lending platform are going absolute hits. This thing has multi-billion-dollar TVL and volume potential. I think it does, because it will literally be the first ever multi-chain borrowing and lending platform that uses no fucking bridges, okay? So the user experience will be the best. And if you take a look at their demo, I'll go to their demo right now, actually. This is looking very, very nice. Just take a look at this. Super, super pretty, super sleek and everything. Once again, Bitcoin DeFi needs a good borrowing and lending platform that's cross-chain. This is really, really good, and I think will help bring potentially more liquidity into the space. Now, how long will it take for actually everything, in my opinion, to take off in the Bitcoin DeFi space? I think it could take a decent amount of time. Right now, the applications that are actually going to be good and powering the space are still being built out right now, like Liquidium. So the volume right now in Bitcoin DeFi is not on par with Solana and Ethereum, obviously. But I think in the future, and a lot of people may be mad and everything, but I think next cycle, I know it's once again a couple years from now, and like 4 years from now basically. But I think because we're gonna have probably, like, honestly, I think the bull run's gonna end at the end of 25. We're gonna have a bear market, and then the bull run's gonna kick off again in 3-4 years from now, whatever. I think Bitcoin DeFi has a real shot of having a ton of volume as long as the applications are on par in performance with Solana. And by using ICP, this becomes possible. Odin.Fun was kind of the first case study, because when it came out, people were like, how the hell is this even possible? ICP makes it possible. And Liquidium will be very, very good as well, hopefully. Big things coming there. Big things coming there. And the last thing I want to talk about is what's going on with KongSwap, because KongSwap, as you know, I run the marketing for KongSwap. We're getting into Bitcoin DeFi as well. We have a couple runes that I've put down liquidity on the platform right now. And of course, these runes were bridged over from Bitcoin to ICP, but Kong is in the position to become the place where you can swap for runes the fastest. You can technically swap for runes right now on KongSwap, kongswap.io, for 1 second. You can do a swap from CKBTC or Tether. You can do a swap from Tether to Ghost Node right here in a second. It's literally a 2 second swap. So I think with Kong, in the future, we're going to have a lot of big things coming up. And FYI, if you made it this far in the video, I'm going to drop some alpha on you. We are going to be partnering and integrating with some potentially big projects that are coming to Bitcoin DeFi in the future. Wink, wink. Maybe you're able to connect the dots with this. That's all I'm going to say. But we have a lot of really cool things coming for Kong. Once again, Kong is built on ICP, and with ICP, we have this great chain fusion. So we're going to be leaning heavily in the runes on my end. I'm going to be trying to, once again, I said I'm pivoting a lot of my content to Rune/Bitcoin DeFi. And for the Kong, brand itself, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin DeFi runes a lot because we believe, and for Kong, we're going to be looking to build a lot of the good infrastructure for Bitcoin DeFi and kind of take some of that market share, because we kind of realize, hey, to be honest, a lot of the projects in Bitcoin DeFi are some shit right now, and we can kind of come in and have and make it a better user experience and bring more liquidity and volume and everything to Bitcoin DeFi, and obviously, ICP as well, which they kind of work hand in hand. So yeah, we're going to be doing a lot of stuff there for Kong. And once again, you can trade runes on Kong right now. You can trade Ghost Node, BitCat, iConfucius. We have Odin Dog on there as well, and a couple other coins. So if you want to trade runes at a very, very quick pace. And I'll be making a video on this specifically in the future. Go to Kong Swap. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff in the Bitcoin DeFi space. Really cool things on the way. And this is a project that has been putting LP up for Kong called Ghost in the Node. So go check them out. Really, really cool stuff coming. But yeah, guys, I'm super, super bullish on what's coming for Bitcoin DeFi and everything. Once again, make sure to go follow Kong Swap on X at Kong Swap X, not Kong Swap, Kong Swap with an X at the end. We're going to be leaning in heavily to Bitcoin DeFi. I'm super bullish on it. We got a lot coming. And yeah, I'm super bullish on what's going to be happening and everything. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and thank you for watching.